issues.
Greetings, discreet defenders. We have 4 different ammunition types that we're going to be testing today out of the Ruger LCP Max. And I want to zoom in on some of these. These are the Winchester silver tips. I'm going to shoot 10 of those. These are the Hornady Critical Defense. I'm going to shoot 10 of those. And then I have a couple of target loads. 50 round box of Brownings that I'm going to run through, and the rest is going to be Carbon City lead-free ball ammunition. We did have the magazine drop out on a couple of occasions during the first test. All of those errors, I believe, were with one type of ammunition, so hopefully we will not see that error repeat itself. I'm pretty confident the critical defense won't give us any trouble. I'd love to shoot 200 rounds of critical defense and make sure, because that's obviously my go-to preferred defensive round. But I think the Carbon City, with its fairly narrow nose, will be a good stand-in. I have never had any trouble with these. We'll see what we get. And we'll be shooting a stump about 12 yards away. All right, first up, I'm going to run a magazine of the Carbon City. 12 round magazine. Make sure that's seated. All right, that went great. Now we'll do the Brownings. Again, a 12 round magazine. And right off the bat, we have a failure to feed. That might be a break-in issue with the magazine. Yeah, it's just too tight. But it might also have something to do with that wide, flat nose. Try to get that bullet in there. Twelve of them again. No problems other than the initial feeding issue. Now we'll do a 10 round magazine of the silver tips. And these, yeah, these magazine springs are fully broken in. No problem. Now for the critical defense. Didn't lock open on that last one. Critical defense is quite manageable for recoil. It's really remarkably similar to the Carbon City. All right, empty magazines, intermission time. Gonna start out with the Brownings. Ha! Same problem. Now, what you see going on at this point in the video, and which I didn't have time to go into during the shoot, is a magazine issue and not a pistol issue. And what I mean is, these 12 round magazines are fairly new. I only bought them last spring, and I've only used them a couple of times each. And so when I loaded them full with these flat nose FMJs, the very top round would not feed properly from the magazine into the chamber. That is only an issue, as far as I can tell, with the flat nose FMJs and with brand new magazines or nearly new 12-round magazines. I didn't have the problem at all with these 10-round mags. They're over a year old and properly broken in. And yes, I know springs, magazine springs are kind of a controversy, but magazine springs do wear out over time, with the possible exception of Glock magazines. But we're dealing with Ruger magazines. Once you've used them a certain number of times, the springs will break in and you can run flat nose FMJ or whatever, and you shouldn't have any problem with the 12-round magazines after that. Doesn't want to feed that first round out of that stiff 12-round magazine. All right, I'll start with the 10. Okay, that feeds fine. It's just the tough springs. Locked open. No, it doesn't want to come out of the magazine. Does not want there. Gotta just push it forward. I'm gonna have to use those some more, or leave them loaded. Is that loose? Nope. Ooh, hot brass. All right, now the Carbon City. Those feed great. Wow, I gotta say, I do like the Carbon City. All right, load up those last 16 Brownings. All right, there's a 10-round magazine of the Brownings. I'm not gonna load the Brownings in those 12-round magazines anymore. Just no reason to go through the frustration. We've seen what happens. We know it's probably the springs and that slightly too wide knee plat on the front. All right, that's it for the Brownings. We'll load Carbon Cities on top of them. All right, full magazines, 1 extra bullet. I think I'm gonna put the Carbon Cities to the test. Oops. We will drop one in the chamber. Man, that barrel is warm. And then we'll put in a 12-round magazine under it with its tough springs and see how it works. Ha ha ho! Carbon City. All right, so 2 empty 50-round boxes. We shot 20 of the defensive loads, the hollow points. That's 120 rounds already. Bust out 2 more boxes of Carbon City lead free. These run the gun, and with 120 rounds through it, put that in the shadow somewhere where it can cool off just a bit. Wow. I think that one just wants to take 11. Okay, I managed to get 12 in there. Yeah, I fooled myself. Oh well, there's definitely 44 loaded up now. Oh, wow, that is one hot slide. All right. Whew. Okay, we're chambered, ready to go. "12 rounds, no issues." "12 more, lock back and everything." No, there was one. Ah! How did I do that? I lost count. Wow, that's too hot. Whew. Too much fun. All right. Put that over it just to keep it out of the sun. 6 more rounds from this box. And that will bring us to 170. Let's get 30 rounds out of this box right here. In fact, there's 12 rounds gone from it already. Let's just shoot them all. 3 empty boxes of Carbon City lead-free ball ammunition, which I believe would be an effective carry round. 1 empty box of Browning, and 10 rounds each of defensive hollow points, Winchester Silvertip, Hornady Critical Defense. We won't shoot more of those because I'm not made of money. But we'll use up the remaining Carbon City. $10 rounds. $10 more. Another 12 round magazine. Yes, there was a slight hiccup there the first time I tried to slingshot that shot. That's why you never, ever carry with an empty chamber. You can only be sure of the round you have in the chamber. The round in the chamber is your very best friend. Imagine the embarrassment of being in a gunfight and you go to chamber a round and it doesn't work. No. All right. All 12. No magazine drops this time. I think it was S&B. Maybe it was Fiocchi, but I think it was S&B. Copper plated, or yeah, copper jacketed round nose FMJ. Round nose FMJ. But I think it was something European, which might have different chamber pressure specs than US SAMI. I think what we've demonstrated here today is that Carbon City lead-free ball ammunition works really well in the Ruger LCP Max. And the magazine springs are a little stiff when they start out, I think. I think for target shooting, I'm going to use the Carbon Cities because they are inexpensive and they load and fire and recoil very similarly to the Critical Defense. They even have about the same muzzle energy as the Critical Defense, about 160 foot-pounds of energy out of the tiny little barrel. Despite the fact that they're 75 grains, they're going a lot faster, about 100 feet per second faster on average. Not bad for a lead-free ball ammunition. Thanks, folks. This is Dave for DDR. Hope you enjoyed the 200 round test shoot of the Ruger LCP Max. Have a great week. All 12, no issues.